In the last video, we looked at a number 15 times 2 and 5 tenths, and we multiplied it out. 5 times 5 is 25, carry the 2, 7. Put your placeholder in, 5 times 2 is 10, carry the 1, 2, 3, and we came out with 37.5, remembering that we have one decimal point that we have to work with. I also showed this with the area model. And I know that I need two numbers for my top. 10 and 5 makes 15. And then 2 and 5 tenths for the side. So you have 20, 10. You have 5 times 10, which is 50, with one decimal place. So we come over 1 and put our decimal point in. You have 5 times 5 for 25. Again, moving over 1 and putting your decimal in. Still going to add them just the same. And we're going to come up with 37.5 again. Now, when we checked this using division, we went through and we divided our product by 15, the whole number, which was fairly easy to do because we just simply started by taking our decimal and putting it on top. We realized that 15 goes into 37 twice. 2 times 15 is 30. We subtract. I have 7 left over. I bring down my 5. 15 goes into 75 5 times, and I have nothing left over. This time, let's look at it a little bit differently. I can take my my product, and I can divide it by the other number. And this is going to make things a little bit differently because now you're dividing by a decimal, okay? In this case, we're going to do something just a little bit different. We're going to multiply both of these times 10. And we're going to do this so that I'm back to dividing by a whole number. So when I multiply 2.5 times 10, 5 times 10 is, or 5 times 0 is 0, 0 times 2 is 0, 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 2 is 2, and guess what? I have 0, 5, 2. I have one decimal place that I'm working with, so I come over and drop my decimal point behind. So now this number out front is 25, and if I do the same thing with 37.5, I'm going to end up doing the same thing. I'm going to move my decimal point once to the right, so I'm going to come out with 375. We do this to make our lives a little bit easier as far as division goes. So now I'm going to write my two new numbers over, and I'm going to make sure that my decimal point is sitting at the end of both of these. So I'm going to realize that 25 is going to fit into 37 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. And I'm going to subtract, and I have, oops, not 15, I have 12 left over. Then I'm going to bring down my 5. 25 is going to fit into 125 5 times. Well, 5 times 5 is 25. I'm going to carry the 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 more is 12. When I subtract, I have nothing left. Now my decimal point, which I didn't do at the beginning, needs to automatically be put up at the top. Okay? I have no other numbers left to work with, so I have nothing left to bring down. But if you look at the quotient that's sitting on here and compare it to our original problem, you see where we still ended up with 15 as our other number. So 15 times 25 equals 375. If you move your decimal points back in, 15 times 2 and 5 tenths equals 37 and 5 tenths. This is a very simple, easy way to look at it. If we look at a problem that's slightly more difficult, okay, I can take a number like 16 and 48 1/100ths, and I can divide it by 4. In this case, I have a whole number out front, so I have no reason to do anything. But if I make this 4 tenths, then I need to multiply both sides by 10 so that I can make this a whole number outside. So we have 164 and 8 tenths to worry about now. Well, I can't divide 1 by 4, but I can divide 16 by 4. It works 4 times. So 4 times 4 is 16. I have nothing left over. I bring down help. Oops, let's not forget our decimal point. Amazing how forgetting the first step is so common. Then I'm going to bring down my 4. 4 goes into 4 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. You subtract. I have nothing left. And I bring down my last number, 8. And notice, again, just like with whole number division, being neat and straight is of the utmost importance. Well, how many times does 4 fit into 8? It's 2. 2 times 4 is 8. And I have nothing left over. So I have 41 and 2/10 as an answer. Now, I could work these backwards and see if we come out with the same number by multiplying. So I could take 41 and 2/10 times 4. Now I could do this with the standard algorithm. 2 times 4 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. And I'm working with one decimal place, so I come over and I drop my decimal point in one place. I can show this again by using the area model, except this time I have 3 numbers on top. So I'm going to create 3 spaces, and I have 1 number for the side. So I don't need to create any boxes there. But I have 40, I have 1, and I have 2/10. So 4 times 4 is 16, and I'm working with a 0. 4 times 1 is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8, and it's a decimal, and I have 1 decimal place I'm working with, so I'm going to put it in there. And then I'm simply going to come in, and I'm going to add them. I'll put a 0 in there just to make everything line up nice and neat, and I can even come in here and put my decimal and a 0 behind, just again to make sure that everything's nice and neat. So if I look down my 10ths column, add them together, I have 8. In the ones, let's put that decimal in there. In the ones I have 4, in the 10s I have 6, and in the hundreds I have 1. So I'm back to a number of 164 and 8/10, which is exactly what we started with.